Compassion and attachments. Hello, everyone.
大家好。
Hello, Master.
好，大家好，大家好。
Please be
好，大家
seated.
请
Thank
坐。
you, Master. As we
我在和大家
interact,
交流之中啊，
I realize
我就
many
发
of
现
our
了这个
afflictions and pain are self-created.
我们很多的痛苦烦恼都是自己造出来的。
An example
修
from when we were
禅堂的
expanding
时
our
候，
center.
他也想发心，
Someone
计
wished
划
to
呢
donate
是准备出
$100,000
10万块钱，
and have
那
his
在功
name
德榜
written
上
on
就
the
留下他
wall
的
of
名字
merit.
了啊，
He
希望
wanted to
这个
gain some
产生的
merits.
功德回向给他。
After a
可是
while, someone came to
过了一
donate
会儿之后，有另外一个
$50,000
人来说，
and
师
wished
傅
the
我
same
出
for
5
his
万块钱
name,
行不
and I
行？你把
said,
我的名字
sure.
写上。我说可以。
This
因为前面
upset the
出10万
guy
块
who
钱的人
donated
非常
$100,000.
的痛苦，就在那哭。
He
我
was
说
so
你刚
devoted
才很
before,
喜
I
悦地
wondered
发
what
心，为什么
happened.
哭呢？
He
我说我
wanted to
能不能
reduce
减
his
少一点？
donation, saying he had other uses for it.
其实我的钱还有用处。
He
我
said,
出租
I
的那
have to
10
pay
套房
interest
子
and
我还给
loans for the
银行
houses I rented out.
利息和贷款。
He
就开
had
始找理
various
由。
reasons. He
我说那
asked
你
if he
想
could
减多少
donate
呢？我只出
$50,000
5万行
only.
不行？我说
I
可以。
said, fine.
他
Suddenly
就
he
高
was
兴起
so
来了。哎呀，
happy.
师傅我不哭了，刚才我错了。过
Later,
了一
a
会儿，
guy
有一个人
came
来
to
师
donate
傅，我出3万，能不能给
$30,000
我
and
写上？
wanted his name on
我
the
说
wall.
可
I
以。
said, fine.
结
This
果现在
upset the
变
two
成2、
guys
3
that
个人一起
donated
哭。
more.
那么第二个出5万块钱的人也开始哭。
Apparently, the second one
其
was
实我
also
也在
paying
供
back
房，知
loans.
道吗？我每个月也要付给银行。
Can I
我能
donate
不能少
less?
出
I
点儿也把我
said,
写上？
fine.
我说可以。可是
Later,
又过了一
another
会儿，又
asked
来
if
着，
he
师
could
傅我
have
出
the
8000
same
能不
for
能
an
行？我说
$8,000
可以。
donation. I
结果
agreed, but
前
then
面
all
几
the
个人又一
previous
起哭，
donors got upset again. In the
最后
end, they
又
settled on
变成8000
$8,000.
了。他哭的时候
Seriously,
还
they
不是
really
假的，
cried.
还真哭。
This
所以我
shows
说
how
我
we
们这
create our
个
own
就
afflictions.
好多的这个烦恼、痛苦都是自己的那个心所造的。所以
Today
今天
I'm
给大
going
家
to talk
传
about
授
how
一
we
个更
cause our
新
own
的
pain.
让自己痛苦的内容是什么呢？叫
It
自
stems
我
from an
意识太重，
oversensitive consciousness of the self.
叫自我意识太重。
When we put
当
too
自
much
我心太
emphasis on
重
the
之后，
self, suffering arises.
那么痛苦一定就来了。
What
那自
kind
我
of
意识重了之
suffering?
后，通常会有哪些事情会表现出来？哪些烦恼来了呢？比如
Let's
说
start with our innate
我们的
traits.
先天的部分，
These
先
are
天
the
部分就是
traits
妈妈
you're
生下来
born
就一
with.
样的。
We
我们
often
现在
hear
成为成
people
年人了
complaining
就
that
你看
others are taller, look better, have more
他们
money
长
than
得
them.
不如我长得好看，或者是说我比他们都丑，我比他们都矮，我比他们都穷，
Or that
他们
others
唱得好
sing
我
or
不会
dance
唱，
better,
他
etc.
们跳舞我不会跳。
You
当有
suffer
这么一
when
个
you
对比之
compare.
后，自己的痛苦马上就来了。
Many
还有
also do the
还有很多
following.
人都是这样做哈。
You're an
在
honest
我的公
worker
司
but
里
is
头，
not good at
我
expressing
其实是一
yourself.
个很实在的人，我要认真的工作，可是我不善于表达，
You
所以
think your
老板
boss only
涨工
promote
资、
those who
提
express
升职
themselves
位都
better,
是给那个特别能表达的，我就不是很能表达，
and
所
that
以
good
这
things
种
don't happen to
好
you.
事情总落不到我头上来，
This
那
is suffering.
就会哭。对，
When
所以
you
当
become
我自
aware
我
of
意
the
识有了
self,
之
then
后，
suffering
那么
begins.
就是苦就开始了。
What
那我在
I'm
观
saying
察
might offend people a
很多
bit.
就是
，I'll
我对不
just
起
be
哈，我
straight
只
with
能
you.
说实话，我也找不到一个恰当的名词。
After
就是有很
interacting
多
with
这
people
个
with mental issues, such as
自闭
depression,
症、忧郁症，就是与精神疾病相关的人士，当我和他们做很多交流聊天的时候，
I
发
can
现
say that the cause of
其
their
实这个病的
problems is
原因就是
actually
太自私了，
selfishness.
那就是太自我了。
The
啊，
cause
其
of
实说
mental
这个
illnesses isn't
精神
always
病的
congenital.
除了我说遗传之外哈，
People could inherit some brain defects
你的
which
脑细
explain their
胞
mental
这
condition.
种结构就决定了可能你的智力有些问题。
It's
那么我
hard
们
to
看这
spot
个人
these
的大脑
issues
这
because
个
such
长
people
相
look
五官
normal.
都是正常的。一
When
开始
in
烦恼
truth,
很多
they're
不
deeply
出家
troubled
门
and never
啊，
go outside.
你
Being
说没有工
jobless
作吧
is
特别苦，
painful,
一
but
工
then
作
you
之
get a
后
job
他
only to
发现他
find
总
more
觉得人人
troubles
都不
and
顺眼，
stress awaiting
人
you.
人都给他气受，就很烦恼。
There
哎，
just
这
isn't
这
a
反
good
正没什么
day.
好日子了。
When
说在家里
jobless,
头
he
失
was
业了，
stressed to
哎，
the
烦
point
恼
of
的要死，
considering
就想
suicide.
自杀。
After
找了工作
finding
之
a
后，看见
job,
人就
he
是烦恼。
feels stress from his
这个时候他
colleagues.
闲
They're
话
all
了，那个
better
人
than
比
him
他
in
会
some
讲话了，还有
aspects.
人比他会拍马屁呀，
He
哎，
feels
那他
deeply
就很烦
troubled
恼。
when
对，
actually, he
其
is
实
too
这都是对
self-involved.
自我心太重了。
Say
所以
you
我
are a
们在
woman
修行
watching two
之中
guys
啊，
compare
你
looks.
去对比哈，如果你是女的，你看当两个男的比谁帅的时候，
The
那
less
显得丑的
handsome
那个
one
就
will
觉得
for
有点
sure
烦
be
恼。
troubled.
你
As
的
an
旁观的
onlooker,
人就
you
变
don't
成
feel
观
any
众了，
troubles
你
because
就
it
不烦
doesn't
恼。
involve you.
对，这个事情与你没有关系。所
It's
以
your
当自我的
self-involvement
意
that
识
causes
太
your
强之后，
afflictions.
哎，那个烦恼起来了。
It's
其
not
他的烦
always
恼，
money,
我
house,
觉
or
得它可能
relationship that
并不是
troubles
因为
us.
多少钱财啊，或者是真正的爱情，或者是买房子之类的，都不是大事。
But the
就是这
trivial,
些
petty
小小的事
stuff.
情，使这一个人每天都感受到烦恼。哎，
We're
对，
too
就是自
focused
我
on
意
the
识
self.
过重。
To
那
get
因
rid of
此
all
呢，我们要
afflictions and
想
become a more
真正的
compassionate person,
破除这些烦恼，让自己做一个真正有慈悲心的人。
we
其
need
实
to
就
lower
是
our
把
awareness
自
of the
我
self.
的这个意识降低一些。还
Also,
有
we
呢，
need to
再
practice
具体分析哈，
self-reflection.
自我。
What
那
do
么
we
自
need
我
to
的什么东
eliminate?
西减少呢？就是
Selfish
减少
desires.
得
That's how
失
to
之
get
心，
rid of afflictions.
你的烦恼才能少。
I have
其实
met
我遇
many
到这个
people
不
from
同，
different
就
social
是在
classes.
金钱角度来说，就是不同阶级的人都有。
The
比
rich
我
have
们
their
普通
own
人富得
afflictions
多的
too.
人，但并且烦恼的也有很多。
The poor
比
are
如说
often
我们
jealous of the
穷
rich.
贫穷一些的人，就比较羡慕那些富贵一些的人。
They
你想
think
着，如果
happiness
我
is
有那么
having
多
a
的
lot
钱，
of
我会多
money.
快乐呢？
The
但这个
rich,
富人
they're
呢，等
afflicted
有了这么
because
多
of
钱，
being
发现
rich.
说，哎呀，我都是因为钱多而烦恼。
The rich
其
and
实又是
poor
彼此
are
羡慕。
actually jealous of each other. In the
所以在
past,
过
in
去，你
many
看，
countries,
无论是中国还是国外哈，
the
很多高
officials
官就
wanted
说
to be
我不做
ordinary
官了，
people.
我要去做百姓。
But
但是所有的
ordinary
百姓都想
people
做
want
官
to
的，
become
对不对？你
officials.
看很
Many
多人拼
people
命的读
study
书，
hard to make a
拼
lot
命
of
的考
money
学，拼命的赚钱，就
so
是
as
希
to
望过
better
上一
their
个更
life
高
and live
兴的、
worry-free.
衣食无忧的日子。
After
可是真到那个
experiencing
日
the
子，
afflictions
把
of
你折
being
磨的人
rich,
受不了了之后，
they
说我
can't
要
wait
去
to
做
become
做
ordinary
百姓，我
again.
要
They
过
think
贫苦日
living
子，
simply
可
is
能我
true
更快乐。
happiness. The
这叫
rich and
彼
the
此羡
poor
慕。
are jealous of each other. You
那
may
么我们
think
作
you're
为一个
living
普
an
通人，
ordinary life.
无论在座的诸位，无论你是否觉得自己是普通还是不普通，哎，
To
那
me,
我觉得
those
不
with
普通的，
post-secondary
一般读书
education
来
are
说都
not
是
ordinary.
高中以上的。
Raise
你
your
们多少
hand if
人
you finished high school.
是属于高中学历以上的，请举手。举吧，既然都读了，干都干了，这啊，
Are
请
you
问你们
happy?
快乐吗？
Nobody
没有一
can
个
say
很
they're
自信的说
truly
我快乐。
happy.
抹干眼泪一定是快乐的啊。
Most
真正的
times, you
平
may
常的
not
时
be
间里
happy,
头，
just
你
calm.
不一定快乐，都是平静的，
This
就
is
已经很
already
了不
very
起。
good.
就
It
至少
shows
你
your
做
mental
人的
state
时
has
候是
elevated
有
to a
一定的
certain
高
height.
度。
There
但
are
这个
two
高度
aspects.
一定是两个方面。
The first
第一
one
个呢，
is
就
to
是
be
不要
less
太敏
sensitive,
感，
then
有
to
一
be
个叫
less self-involved.
自我得失心，不那么强烈，不那么敏感，
Then,
烦恼
you'll
就
have
少。
fewer afflictions.
啊，
How
那
do
要
we
怎
have
样
fewer
让
selfish
自己的得
desires?
失心
By cultivating more compassion.
减少呢？那就是增加慈悲心。 就这两个东
Selfishness
西
and
是搭配起
compassion
来
are
的。
related. If I
它的
only
独
talk
立的
about each
可能还
individually,
如果独立去解释的话，
you'll
大家不
find
容易受到
yourself
手。
still having a hard time
觉得好像
understanding and
师父讲
applying
了，我
it.
也听很多遍，怎么用的时候就不太方便用啊。
Since
大
you've
家到
come
这
to
儿来
learn from me,
就算是跟我来学习了吧。
I'll
那我
share
们
with
就
you
倚
my
老卖
thoughts
老
and
啊，
understanding.
把我这个想法，把我所理解的事情就也告诉你。
You can
我们来分
analyze
析
afterward.
所
More
以用慈
compassion
悲
means
心
less selfishness.
加强自己的慈悲心，就会淡化我们叫个人的得失之心。
What is
什么叫慈
compassion?
悲啊？那我说慈悲的话，
It
至
can
少
be
我
as
是
simple as
在
saying, stop
在
before you hurt
可能
someone.
伤害别人的时候舍不得下手。
It's
我们不
not
要说
always
慈悲一
about
定是救
liberating
度，
someone.
救度已经是非常慈悲的事情。哎，
You
你说
simply
人
can't
该
bear
害
to
人
hurt
的时候下不
others.
去手。
A
你
food
作为公司
producer
老
could be
板，
using
你
additives
在
and
你的食物里
preservatives
头，为了增加味道，
to
放
cut
了一
costs
些
and
塑
boost
料、
profits.
化学的添加剂。哎，
But
之
after
前
listening
放，
to my teachings,
听
he
我讲
decided to
过慈
stop
悲心
doing
之后，
so.
你下不去这个手了，你
That's
就
the
这就
beginning of
是
your
开始
compassion.
慈悲了，就是有了慈悲心。
In
说你再
fact,
有慈
he
悲
could
心呢，
use
说
better
我希望我的
ingredients
原
or
料
sell it
做
cheaper
食物的原料更好一些，价钱再降一点。
to
哎，
show
那
he's
是更慈
cultivated
悲。
more compassion.
说慈
Closing
悲心不
shop
是说
and
好
giving
吧，我不卖
everything
了，我把
away
我
is
的
not
面全
compassion.
送出去，那个偶尔送可以，
He
你
still
总是
needs
送
to
的话，
make a
你太无
living.
资源了。
As long
我
as
觉
you
得不
don't cheat
骗
in
人就是
business,
慈悲，
it's compassion. If you
害人
stop
的时候
before
下不去
harming
手就是慈
someone,
悲
it's compassion.
啊。
When
这
jealousy
个
arises, we become
争风
aware that
吃
it's
醋
not
的嫉妒心
compassionate.
产生的时候，能够有一个意识思考到自己，哎呀，我这不慈悲了吧？我的嫉妒心冒出来了。 能
Being
有这
aware of
种
these
自
mental
我
states is
这
also
种
compassion.
一个叫自觉感知的人，这也是慈悲。
When
所以
we
我
are
们在
not
不小
careful,
心之中，我们在做事做事的过程之中，不
harmful
小
thoughts
心
arise
我
without
们
us
的
realizing it.
这些伤害的心理、负面的心理，它自动会冒出来。
The
那
people
么
with higher mental
有
states have more
有这个人
compassion.
生境界高度的人呢，就是慈悲心多一点的人，
They
他会马
realize
上
something's not
就开始
right.
思考自己，会意识到了，哎，我这个小人心产生了，
At
我
the
的嫉
moment
妒
their
心产生
jealousy
了，
and anger
我的
arise.
愤怒心产生了，开始有自我意识。
When
那
this
咱们大家
happens,
就平
remember
静
to remain calm and to
这个时候
control
该
one's
说的话
speech and
不说，
actions.
该下的狠手停止住了，
It's
开始
important
静
to
下来思
analyze
考自
whether
己的
such thoughts are
此
right
时
or
的
wrong.
心情和对错。
It's
我等
best to
2个
put
小时之后
aside
再
what
解决
you're
这个问题。
doing and finish it later.
哎，那
People
么
with high mental
更高
states
境界的
admit they're
人，他
wrong.
能一刹那，噔一下就觉得，哦，我错了，我的嫉妒心来了，
At the
马上
moment
自
their
己内心里就
negativity
已经对对方
arises.
说对不起。
They
也
don't
许你
say
可
it
能
out
你的
loud,
行为并
though.
没有说，有一个
Imagine a
女生
lady
看
rejects a
招
young,
聘员工的时候，
beautiful,
看
and
见一个
capable
又冰
female
又年轻
applicant
又漂亮
at
又
a
有
job
学识又
interview
敏感，
because of jealousy.
哇，我招她来，我的工作没了。对，不要。
That
哎，
would be
那
a
对公
great
司来
loss
说
to
就
the
是损失，
company,
对不对？
right?
所以
Someone with a high mental
当这
state
样一
would
个高
quickly
尚的一个
realize
人
the
物，当意识
arising
到这一点的时
negativity
候，
and
马
say,
上就会
I've
说
made a
那是我
mistake.
错。
Without
虽然你的
saying it,
话没
they
说出来，
accept that there is always
那你的
someone
行为是
better.
什么呢？欢喜接受。哎，这个人能力都比我好，哎，长相又比我好，我欢喜接受。那
Those
一
who
般
are
人说，哎，
insecure
那不
see
行，那
people
对
who
我
are
都是
better
没
as
钱就好。
threats.
哎，所以
Those
要
with a
有
high mental
这样
state
一个
realize
随
what's
时能
wrong
警惕自
immediately.
己。所以高境界的人是一瞬间就能反应过来，哎呦，我错了。
When
就
they
是更
encounter
高境界
negative
的人，
issues, they become
遇到
troubled
更大
too.
的是非的时候，
They
有时
need
候
to
也
think
会被
carefully
障
as
碍。
well, sometimes
有的人
puzzling
也
for
需
a
要考虑
week.
7天。哎，对，所
What's
以
important
你
is
至
having
少
the
要懂得
awareness
开
when
始考
negativity
虑，这
arises.
个可能是我的错误啊，你在思考。那
Those who
懂得思
realize
考
are
的人，
people with
就其
compassion.
实是已经有慈悲心的人。
Such people make fewer mistakes and cause little harm.
少犯错，少伤害。
Afflictions stem from our attachments. Compassion ensures no place for gain and loss. To obtain compassion, do no evil and always self-reflect. As we cultivate further, we make fewer mistakes and cause less harm.
少犯错，少伤害。
In return, we should do more good and show love and compassion.
多付出，多送出一份爱，一份慈悲。
When we offer love out of affection, we hope for affection in
爱
return.
情总是说我放电给你，你总有所回应吧，像两艘船一样，啪啪啪闪上个信号灯，啊。
People offering love out of compassion ask for nothing in return. They were just happy to help. Any compensation is left for those they helped to decided. What do people with a high mental state have? It's the awareness to remain calm in good and bad times.
我们的感受觉得是个特别好的事情，还有特别不愉快的事情。
It's important to be aware of your intentions when they arise, to know if they are good or evil. The best is to have a calm heart, not leaning in any direction.
还有叫做不偏不倚，不上不下，
Sounds
不左
deep.
不右，听起来有点复杂。
The Heart Sutra reads, no up nor down, not tainted nor pure.
例子，不上不下，不净不垢。
It means
也
it's
不
neither
是说很
clean
干
nor
净
dirty.
也不是肮脏，
Then there is no life, no
这
death.
个不生不死。
What do all
这个
these
描述什么
mean?
意思呢？
We can
我
apply this
我把这句话
concept to our
搬在
thoughts.
是我们去思考事情的时候，它是一种概念哈。
Does the Heart Sutra only explain the surface meaning of its text? Yes and no.
也不是。
Please use this concept for your state of mind.
就是持一种中的状态。
When
就是我
making
的意念判
decisions,
断
we
事情
should be neutral
要
and
公正
unbiased.
要清净的。
If you're
当有所
attached to
执着
something, you won't be
有所执着
neutral.
就会偏，知道吗？
Some
所以有人
people
吃饭
prefer
说，我
spicy
就喜
food
欢吃
more
辣
than
的。
anything else.
那么多数人吃不了辣的，对不对？
That's
那
not
你的饮
neutral.
食方式是一种偏食的行为。
In
万一像
Shaanxi,
中国的
China,
山西人
people
说我
prefer
就爱吃
sour
酸的
food.
对不起，那也是偏食。只
People
有山西
elsewhere
省的
don't
人爱
like
吃
it.
那么酸，别的省的就受不了。
When there's a
真的有
preference,
偏
it's not neutral.
就不会公正。
What
所以
can
我
we
们
say
看
about the
西方
blindfolded
人
goddess
建
holding
立
a
的法
scale?
院当中有一个女神的塑像，
That we
女
see
神
in front
手
of
里头
Western
提着个
courts?
天平，她的眼睛是蒙着的。
The
就是我
scale
看不见你是
symbolizes
谁。
balance, while
那
the
我呢，就是
blindfold
反正我
prevents
现在拿
her
一个
from
秤，
making biased
我要公正。
judgments.
哎，
We
其实
need
我们
this
在做
unbiased
事的时候
mentality to
也
judge
需
not
要有
only
这样，
ourselves,
把
but
自己的
everything
心
around us.
心中内心深处，其实判断自己的对错，判断这个事物的好坏，
When
要
the
有
heart
这样
is
一种
calm,
清
there are
净
more
公正
chances
的
of it
心，
being accurate.
静下来，可能就会比较正确。
We make
当
wrong
一旦有了偏
decisions
执，
when we're
就可
biased.
能会出现，就是最终是错误。所以有些
Sometimes, we
行为
love
哈，就是
ourselves
哎，
too
这个
much.
我还是谁不爱自己啊？
And
就
we
去
are
贪这个
greedy
便
for
宜。
an advantage
今
in
天
business
就
or
是凡是
anything
我
we
们
do.
做人、做事、做生意，
If we
你
grab
现
the
在此时
advantage
此
in
刻
the
贪的
moment,
便宜，
we'll run into
未
trouble
来
in 3
3年以
years.
后几乎都是麻烦。
Many
就
who
拿做
run
小生
small
意来说，
businesses are
你无
involved
论
in
在任
false
何一个国
accounting.
家，今天你开一个公司、开一个店、开一个餐馆，
They
一开始
usually
说
come up with
反正我也不懂
excuses
账，
such as they were
所以我就
unaware.
乱记账。
In
但是你不
fact,
管怎
they
么
just
乱
want
记，
to pay less
你的目
tax.
的是少上税，多拿钱。你肯定是这样的一种潜在的意识。
Most
因
think
为
they
自
can
己
get
不
away
懂
with
得
it.
记账，所以我就故作糊涂，记乱了再说，反正政府也查不到。
Maybe, for a few years, if you're really lucky. But what if your business expands in the future and your account gets audited?
如果有一天查账的时候，那个结果呢？
Even if later on your accounts are accurate, your past record will still affect it.
税局也只能说戴这个有色眼镜看你，说他就是故意记错账的人。
You're labeled and tagged, even if you're clean.
你合法，他先怀疑你是不合法。
The penalty imposed on you is greater than what you evaded.
已经比过去就是100%上税还要付出的还要多，就损失惨重。
You're giving your children lots of troubles.
你的账务不清楚，留给你子女的是无尽的麻烦。
If you get rich from selling drugs, you can't keep the money in banks, right? After you die, your children won't be able to spend the money.
你子女可就惨了，不会享受这笔钱财。
They might become targets of other drug lords. We tend to care too much about our gains and losses.
得失的心得失和利还是弊？弊就是坏处，利就是对自己有好处的。
Sometimes, as someone from middle class,
普通的社会阶级的人，
what we perceive as gains are sometimes disasters in
其
disguise.
实都是弊，都是灾难。
Time will
这个灾
reveal
难
whether they're fortune
是
or
利还是
disaster.
弊是经过时间就可以印证这一点。
How do
那我
we
们怎么
conduct
做人呢？
ourselves then? Don't be greedy and try to take advantage.
不贪便宜。
Long
小时候
time
有一
ago,
次
I was
师
buying
傅让我买
vegetables
菜
for my master. I was buying potatoes, the price was 600 grams for 20 cents.
我都忘了多少钱一斤了，2毛钱一斤是多少？2毛钱一斤。
Another vendor told me he was selling for much cheaper, $2 a sack. One sack was about 15 kilograms. Even being poor at math, I knew it was a good deal.
不清楚数学，我觉得都是特别划算。
With the previous deal, $2 only got me 6 kilograms of potatoes. This was one big, heavy sack, so I thought I was lucky. I thought even if I threw away some spoiled ones, I'd still got a good deal. My shirt got soaked with sweat while I carried the potatoes home.
累的我那个衣服都湿透了。
I excitedly told my master of the deal.
2块钱买1麻袋，咱们俩吃好几天啊！
Oh, really? A good deal? He ordered me to wash them clean. Be careful, the spoiled ones cause food
是
poisoning.
这样子，土豆如果坏了，它就是有毒的啊，所以坏的土豆你也不要给我做啊，所以一定是里头没有坏，我们才能吃，否则会中毒。好吧
I began cutting them one by
我就拿
one
刀
and
咔
none
切
were
开一个
good.
坏的，咔切开一个，一麻袋没有一个好的。
I was mad, who wouldn't be? Of course, Bodhisattva got the blame from me.
那菩萨，你刚才干啥去了？怎么不提醒弟子呢？
My master saw right through me. Stop blaming, it's your own fault
是
for
你
being
自己
cheap.
无知，你以为贪了便宜了。
Everything runs on causality. There was a reason I
从
got
来不会
conned.
给人随便占便宜的。
I said it was the seller's evil scheme. It's you, you took advantage of it and
是
fell
你自
into a
己贪
trap.
便宜。
You
请
don't
记
get
住
rewarded for
你
being
们这个
greedy,
世界
petty
上
and
从
cheap.
来没有贪便宜的真实行为。
You'll
所有
suffer
贪
more
便
than
宜
what
的
you gain.
损失会更多。
I was really
气
mad
得我
back
咬我的
then.
手指头啊！
I was
那个时候
poor
没有
and
钱
2
2块钱挺
RMB
用
was
的，
quite a lot at that time.
目无止境，还
I
是吧
thought I
本来
could
给
impress
孙子
my
讨好，
master and
我
told
可
him I
怜
got a
你，
good deal.
买了
In
一
the
麻
end,
袋，
I got a bag full of
一个好
spoiled
的，
potatoes.
这
Is
上
this
天不
heaven's
长眼，
doing?
这
No,
看样子
blame
不
your
是
own
上天不
greed.
长眼，是自己哈 贪心生起，有如盲人。
You can't see well because greed blinds you. You gain nothing when you think you're lucky. This example isn't that deep. There are things you gain today
以为贪到便宜了，
that turn out to be a disaster months or years later.
2年或者是15年都能印证这是一个天大的错误。
It's important to control your mind and attachment to gains and losses.
这个管好自己的得失之心，
How? By maintaining a neutral
公
heart.
平公正。
This is like the part mentioned in the Heart Sutra.
心经里头描述那个
It is as if they are floating, not rising nor falling, not left nor right, not alive nor
不
dead,
生不死，
not
也不是
pure
很干
nor
净，
filthy.
不是污浊。
What do all these mean?
其实
Most
很多
Chinese know the
华
Heart
人对
Sutra
心经
well.
还是比较熟悉，对不对？
Many
我相信还
have
有很多
even
人曾
copied the
抄袭过
verses
心经
many
若干遍。
times.
每
I'm
个人
sure
对它
all
都
of
是
you
有
have
一
been
定
inspired
感悟
by it in different
受到一些
ways.
启发。那
Our
我们
mental
把这个
state should be like
这
it
个状
when
态
facing all good and bad.
来学会提醒克制自己的心。所以当好事来临时，当坏事来临时，
When
当
you're
这个烦
afflicted,
恼
you
来
should
临时，
remain calm and neutral. There should
你
be
应
no
该
up
用
nor
一种
down.
不上不下，
There
非
should
常
be no
恭
greed
敬，
and taking
没有
advantage
贪
but
执的
only
心，
reverence.
没有贪执的心来思考这件事情，
This
可
will
能对
ensure
未
you a
来是
better
好。
future. I
你像
shouldn't
我去
haggle
买土
over the
豆嘛，
price of
2包现
potatoes.
金，我
If
最多
the
一家
owner
人家
doesn't
1
give a
毛8卖不
discount,
卖，
just leave,
对不对？
otherwise
就找
buy
不到，
it.
每
That
一个几乎
way,
都是
you'll have
好
all
的，
potatoes
是不是啊？
fresh.
它的损
Well,
失
you
率
may
可能
still
就是
have one
1
or
斤里
two
头有1个
spoiled
坏的，都
ones.
是有可能。哎，
But
但
it's
是我
still
们
better
讲
than
便宜的
getting
时候，我就
conned,
发现，
right?
这人太损了吧，那个麻
That's
袋
like
土豆
insulting
都不敢
ourselves
看。
for our stupidity.
你说又一次令我伤害嘛？
When
所以
you
当
feel
这种
yourself
好
getting
看
too
似好
attached
事和不好的事，
to
甚
your
至还
joy,
很莫名
sadness,
其妙
or
的有烦恼产生
afflictions,
的时
you
候，
need to withdraw
你一定要
yourself.
从那件事情上跳出来。
Let
我
me
分享
share
我的
with
经
you
验，
what I
刚才
do.
讲的是方法。那我的经验就是说，我
I
先
just
把
tell
它列
myself,
为
this has nothing
我
to
自
do
己
with
意识
me.
告诉自己，我说这个事与我没有关系。你变成
Having
旁
said
观者
that,
了，与
you
你利
gain
益
or
没有
lose
关
nothing.
系呀。这
When
就是
something
撇
doesn't
开关
bother
系之
you,
后，
that's
发
when you
展很
become neutral. If
如果说
something
这件事
bothers
和我有
you,
关系
there'll
的
be
时候，
gains or losses,
与我的得失就有了关系，那我
which
的心
prevent
就会
you
有
from
所
thinking
偏执的
neutrally.
倾向。
In
当然说这个
courts,
事情与我没
sometimes
有
the
关系，
public are invited to
所以
sit
很多
in
法
and
院
listen to the
在
proceedings.
判决的时候，经常会有一些是叫属于观察员之类的。我
Do
不知
we
道美
have
国有没
something
有？
like this in the States?
美国有没有？
The
啊，
court
陪
invites the
审团
public, in order
其
to
实就
show
是
true
观察员，
fairness.
他会在民众之中选择一些人。真
The
正民主的
idea
话
is
是
that
这
the
样，
judge has
不怕
nothing
民
to
主
hide
来，
from the
不怕民
public
众
if
来当
he's
场
truly
听
fair.
你是怎样审这个案子。那
The
根据
verdict
真
will
正
be
的审
delivered
判的
after
推
the
行，
judge
而且
reviews
还有
all the
证据之后，
evidence.
再进行公正的判决，
All
按照我们所
legal
规范的法
standards
律来
have to
判
be
决。
met before
说
one
这
is
个人有
found
罪，
guilty. Even the
但是罪
slightest
不该死，你
uncertainty
就不能
gives the
对他打。
defendant the benefit of the
对，那
doubt.
叫公正啊。对，所以呢，
Remember,
我
anything
们
good
当
or
遇到
bad
这
doesn't
个
bother you.
好事和烦恼的时候，我们
This is
先
what
把
you
这个
should
事
be
情
telling
在
yourself in
精
your
神领
mind.
域里告诉自己，这个与我无关。你在
Think
观察这件
further
事
and
情，
you'll have the best solution.
就容易得出一个正确的答案。
You must
还要有
solve your
公正性。
problems with calmness and
你
fairness.
最后你要选择的就是公正的提醒给自己的一个法则，去面对这件事情，就会比较好。所
Our
以，所以
senses
我们
allow
当
us to
我
see,
们虽然
hear,
我们有
feel, and
观
interact.
我们有看见、听见，有感受、有交流，
This
此事让
happiness will
你
never outweigh the
给
pain.
你带来快乐的事情，
The
明天
pain
你的
will
痛
always
苦
be
比你的
greater
快
than the
乐，
happiness.
相反的就是若干倍。比如说
One
今天你得
moment
到
of
了1份快
happiness
乐，
brings 10
明天你得
painful
到
moments.
就是10份痛苦。所以
That's
我
what
们
we
一般人
mortals
呢
go
就
through.
是这样，所
In
以
the
在
eyes
这
of
个
Buddha or the
在神
divine,
的世界里，在佛的世界里，
The truth is sometimes the opposite of what we see.
颠倒黑白。
How do
最早的
old
相机
cameras work?
我记得我小时候有那个大木头架子那个相机，对不对？
The
照
image
着人
captured
觉得我人
always
是
appeared
头朝下
upside down,
照相
right?
的时候，那
We
个时
had
候也
no
就习
choice
惯
but
了
to
这样。
adapt, it's the only camera
现
we
在我们
had.
人
In
其实
fact,
眼
what we
睛
see
看这
with
个
our
世界的
naked
时候
eyes is
也是
far
相
from
反
the
的。
truth. What
但
we
最后我
see
们纠正
depends
到
on our
实
mental
际不是
state.
相反的，在纠正了自己而已。啊，所以
When
我
we are
们
looking
真
at
正我们
things,
在
our
看待事
view
情的
is
时候，
limited by
因为
our
我们
mental
精神
state.
的高度，精神的高度是有限的。这个有限的原因，谁
What
制约了我们
restricts
的
our
精神高度
spiritual
呢？
height?
谁制约了我们的精神的高度呢？就是
Greed
贪
and
婪
ignorance.
和无知，就是贪婪和愚昧，就是
That's
限
what
制了
limits
我
our
们的精
mental
神的高
state.
度。啊，
You can
再说
blame
细
it
致
on
一点，就
greed,
是
hatred,
是谁限制了我
attachments,
们的高度？
arrogance, and
就
doubts.
是贪嗔痴慢疑。那
How
么
do we
具
suffer
体
from
具
greed?
体谁感受的我们这种贪婪呢？
Or
是谁传
rather,
递给我
what
们这个
causes
贪
us
婪的
to
信息
suffer
呢？
from greed?
是
It's
我们
our
的
senses
五
and
官和意
consciousness.
识，就是
Our
眼、耳、
ears,
鼻、舌、
eyes,
身意。
nose, tongue,
属于
body,
眼
and
的
mind. Take
每
physical
个
appearances,
啊，
for
比如我让我
example,
贪
we are
贪心
affected
来，
by it
每
because
次
we see it.
让
When
我
you're
烦恼的时
deeply
候，
afflicted, you dislike
讨厌，
everything.
这个人长得真恶心，他
Everyone
诽
is
谤我了，
bothering you, you hate them.
哎，讨厌，哎，
If you
有
walk
些人
carelessly
走
and
路
bump
捂着
into
面
a
睛，咣
door,
当撞到门框上了，我把
you
门给
feel
拆
like
了，
tearing it apart,
啊，
you hate it.
对，讨厌，哎，这
People
些
aren't
其
aware
实
that pain is a
有时
signal
候
of
让你
danger.
痛的
It's
像打
good
针一
because
样，
it
是
warns
好
you.
事。
You
你没
should
有读懂
understand.
它，你
You
没有
don't
用
treat the
恭敬的
world
心
with
去感受
reverence,
这个世
that's the
界。
problem.
其
Many
实它
things
是来帮
exist
你
for a
的，
good
来
reason,
救你的命的。你
but
的感
somehow,
受
they
是
disgust
舒
and
服
annoy
的，
you.
不愉快的，是讨厌的。今天
People
给你
enjoy
带来
being fooled by
美
their
妙感
senses.
受的，你的眼睛、你的嗅觉、你的听觉，是
In
吧？
China,
对你
the
人
young,
看一个
good-looking
年
men
轻的
are
帅
called
哥，
fresh meat.
中国人起这帅哥的名字小鲜肉，你看
Sounds
这种
erotic,
表达就
doesn't
是一
it?
种色情的表达。对，凡
One
你
could
称
use
对
this
方小
term
鲜
out
肉
of
的时候，其实这
admiration.
个时候
People are
你
deceived by their
你上
eyes,
了
and
他
it's
一
bad.
定的当，他传达给你的一定是你有害的。你不能
Imagine
你
a
今天年龄
50-year-old
50，
falling for
爱上一
someone
个
in their
20岁的小
20s.
鲜肉，对不对？你危
Dangerous,
险就
isn't
大
it?
了。你
It
爱的
could
这一
turn out
次
to be
让
a
你
pain
痛
for
一
a
辈子。
lifetime.
所
It's
以
our
经常
six
让我们上
senses,
当的
ears,
是
nose,
我们的
eyes,
眼、
tongue,
耳、
body,
鼻、舌、
mind,
身，就是五官，
and
还有我们精神内
imagination
向。
that often trick us.
啊，别
Don't be
上这个当。
deceived.
所以
I
说
was
我
taught
们
by
这
the
些，
Buddha when I was
所以
little.
在更高境界，佛陀教化我，在
I
我
could
小时候
sense
的
his
做功
mighty
时
state
看
of
到我脑
mind
海
in
里，
my head.
当你
Don't trust
闻
the
到的
wondrous smells,
美的
sights,
香
and
味，
gold you see,
看
they
到
may
的
all
美
be
色，
poison.
看到的黄金，千万别碰它，它可能都是毒。
What
今天
gives
让你
you
感觉
joy
特别
today
愉
may
悦的
bring
东西，
you
几乎
pain.
没一个好东西。可
What
是今天
pains you
让你觉得
today
痛
might
的，
be a great help
啊，酸
someday.
的、不舒服的，也许都是对你有帮助。好，
It's
当我
important
开
to
始
know
明白这
this.
一点的时候，
When
当
you're
别人
at
批评
work,
我的时候，
someone
你
might
看你的
question
工作
your
做的什
work.
么样子啊？你还
They
是
could
电脑工
question
程
your
师，
degree, your
你还是
university,
清
high
华出来的，
school,
对不
etc.
起啊，我说错了，你还是台大出来的啊？对不起，我又说错了，我不是说哪里了哈，我不说具体学校了。啊，你觉得
People get
备受
mad.
侮辱，
Why not?
你
Their
骂我可以，你骂我
professionalism
无
and
效，
their beloved school are
哎，
being picked on.
我就特别愤怒。今
If
天如果是
instead
他
it
是一
was a
个
robot
特别聪明的机
employee,
器人，他老
facing their
板批评的
boss's
时候，机器人马
criticism,
上就
they'd
运算，
quickly
我错在哪里
calculate
了？
where they went
咣
wrong.
咣一算，哦，上厕所忘冲马桶了。哎，对，就
You
是你
think
肯
the
定有一个
mistake
错
is
误，你
minor.
这个错误你认为叫无所谓，但
To
是你
your
的经理
boss,
认为
it's a
这就是
huge
严重，
mistake.
对不对？哎，
When we
所以
encounter negative language and
当
behavior,
遇
we
到
get
负面
emotional.
这个这种语言和行为的时候，我们一般是表现的是叫情绪化，
We
但
don't
是
deal with
不是
problems with
智慧
wisdom.
化，对不对？
Why
为
are
什么说机
robots
器人
not
马上开始
troubled in
运
this
算来
way?
找我到底错在哪里了？因为
Because
机器里
emotions
没
aren't part of their
有
program.
情绪。那
When they're
主人
questioned over an
责怪
error,
他的时
they
候，他是
locate that
干
error
嘛
in
来
their system.
自己的工作 来寻找错误到底在哪里。
If the error wasn't found, then it's the boss's problem.
哦，原来经理是更年期哈。
The
可以理
boss
解。
may be sick.
经理，请你不要烦恼。
The
本人
robot
为你
goes
唱
into
一首
singing
歌，
mode. The moon is my
月亮
heart.
代表我的心。啊，你看看。
Why applaud?
那我是谁呀？
You
所以你
thought I
是不
was
是
a
你想得出
robot?
来？你以为我是机器人吗？
I
我
wish
巴
I
不得我
were.
是个机器人呢，因为我是
Why?
有情绪
Because
的
I'm
呀。
aware of my
多少
emotions.
聪明
Many
智慧
wise
的人
people
死于
died
情
because
绪。
of emotions.
大
Have you
家
seen
有华
Romance
人
of the
看过《
Three
三国演义》
Kingdoms?
的那个电视剧，对不对？
Those
这边的
right
吧，没
here
看
look
过。
lost.
有人
Has
看过吗？
anyone
这边
seen it? The
没电了
battery
哈，
ran out, it seems, for the
这款机
robot
器人没
here.
电了。嗯，
In
对。
the story,
我
Zhuge
这想
Liang
起来是
scolded
那
an
个电视
enemy
剧中，
leader so he could
诸葛
defeat
亮为了
him.
消灭对方，就是骂对方的首领。
That leader's
这个
EQ was
情
quite
商比
low.
较低的人哈，
He
被诸葛亮
vomited
骂
blood
他
and
祖宗
died
八辈
after
之后，
hearing
当
Zhuge
场吐血
cursing his
而亡。
ancestors. He
对
was
方有智
wise but
慧，但
lacked
是没
emotional
控制住
control.
情绪，对
Words
方没打
alone
他，给
killed
骂
him,
死了。
not swords.
所以
He
他错
only
在哪
had
里
his
呢？
ears to blame for hearing
耳
so
朵太
well.
敏感，
He
所以
should have
应该
covered
把
his
耳朵
ears.
堵上。遇到
Against
特别能说
generals
的
who
将
were
军，把
good
耳
with
朵堵上，
words,
不
he
听他
should
说
have
话，
struck first.
上来就打，就打
Strike,
就
and
完
the
了，
war
他就
would
上
be
当了。
over.
就是用
Zhuge
你的
knew the
弱项
leader's
对他的强
weakness
项。
and his
诸葛
own
亮最强
strengths.
项就是善于骂人，一
Most
般
would
人
be
都被
mad
他
at
骂疯
Zhuge's
了。
cursing.
对，
Their
这是你
mental
的
strength
定
is
力。
too weak.
所以我们
See,
就会
we're
上我们
constantly
的
toyed with by our
我们的五
senses.
官的当。我
War
们说的是
zones are the
战
best
争哈，
places to see how
战争才
enemies
能最明
manipulate
确的表示
senses
出
to
来。
win
如果你
battles.
上了
When
当，你
one
命
takes
都
the
没了。
bait, he dies.
比如
No
说我
way
现
can
在
10
是一
soldiers
共带
beat
了
a
10个兵，
battalion of
你们来了1
10,000
万，我肯
soldiers.
定打不过你。无论
No
我多么
way,
大的
no
本事，
matter
打
how
不过，对不
strong
对？
they are.
可是
They
我
can,
背后有一片
however,
树
win
林，
using
我
strategies,
雇了5
create
个
some
兵在后
smoke
面
and
拉着树
noise
枝
to
子在那
fool
个
the
土地上奔
battalion.
跑，乌烟瘴气，觉得
The
哇，
enemy
后面
would
很
think
多军队，
reinforcements
很
have
强。
arrived.
那
They
我
are
们上了什么
deceived
当
by
呢？
their eyes.
眼睛的当。很多男
Another
人上了美
example
女
is
的
the
当，
honey trap, which
就上
uses
了眼
beautiful
睛的当，
women.
对不对？那美
Women
女
are
上了
also
帅哥的
blinded
当，
by
还
handsome
是眼
men,
睛的当，
tricked by their own eyes and
还有
mind.
意识的当。
I
所以
find
我
that
发现
female
女同学特别善于
practitioners are
幻想
very good at imagining.
啊，对
They
吧？
dream
几岁
about
的小
being
女孩就幻想
princesses
将来
and
做明
having
星，
sport cars and
我
wavy
是
hair.
公主，披着长长的头发，开着大跑车啊。但
As they
是往
become
往长大
adults,
之
they
后，跑
realize
车没有，
dreams
靠规
haven't
划
manifested.
啊，
No
跑
sports
路的时候
car,
头发也
no
挑不
wavy
齐，
hair.
所以
They
等长大
realize
之后，发
dreams
现
are
自己的梦
always
想与
opposite
现
of the
实
real world.
根本正好是相反。所以女
Females
生
seem more likely
容
to be
易
deceived by their own mind.
产生幻觉之心
If a
啊。所以有个
slightly
小男
better
孩
looking
长得
guy
我觉得稍微
sings,
像
they
个人
scream
样，
their
女
lungs
生就
out.
尖叫，哇就叫的受不了了。哎，
When I
我
sing,
唱歌，
some
我们
older
这
ladies
老女
scream
生还不
too.
能嘶哑的使劲叫，
Are
已经
you
听得受不
enjoying
了了，
it,
那
or
还
is
是
it
真
because
欢
my
喜呢？
voice is bad?
大
Be
家说，
honest, we enjoy it.
你
Are
是那
you
个老
these
女
older
生，
ladies? My
听我
teachings
上课
test your
随时
minds
注
all
意
the
注
time.
意智力测验，一
If
不
you're
小
not
心就上当
careful,
了，
you'll be deceived.
但是没
Don't
有生命
worry,
危
it's
险。
safe. We're
对，所以我
always
们
tricked by
常
our
常上了我们
senses.
自己五官的当。
Those
婚
who
姻失败
failed
的
in their
人，
marriage
其实
have
你一
been
定上了
deceived by their
就
senses
是
and
五
mind.
官加意念的当。你回头仔细想一想，还有做
Same
生意
goes
赔
for
钱的
those
人，
who
也
failed
是
in their
上了自己
business.
那个五官的当。尤其是赔
Especially
大钱的
those who
人，
have failed big
你
time.
五
Your
官的好，
senses
应该
bring
都是
nothing
巨
but
大的损害。
disasters.
所
It's
以
important to
以后
fight it,
要
not
学
let
会
it
反
blind
其
you.
道而行之。如果
Taoist
道教也是
teachings
说，
tell us to avoid the norms.
就
It means
常人所
avoid
做的，
doing
我觉
what
得不要
people
做。
have been
但
doing.
是
Be
说，
careful
我
when
们
making
往往在这个
decisions.
选择的时候，你看，不管年龄
Regardless
多
of
大，
our
都是找
age,
着
we
好
always have
看
a
的去
soft
找，对
spot
不
for
对？
the good looking.
嗯。但
If your
是如果
spouse is
你
too
的
good
老公也好，
looking,
你的
is
老
that a
婆也好，如
threat
果
to
长得
you?
太好了之后，请问是不是一种危机呀？
Your
如果你
good-looking
老公很
husband
帅
will
很
attract
帅很
many
帅
women.
那别的女人对他有没有好感呢？也有。就像
All
中国人
women
看
love
的
a
刘德
handsome
华一样，
actor.
人人都爱。你说他
His
老
wife
婆，你
sure
说
needs
每
a
天那
strong
个心
heart
脏得
to
多
withstand
强，
that.
对
Does
不对？
she
你们
ever
想
regret
想，
marrying
幸亏
him?
你没嫁给他。对，所以
What you see is
眼
not
睛看的
always as
都
it
不一定
seems.
都是错误。但是
When
当
we're
我
not
们
yet
的
able to
这
tell
种
right from
分辨
wrong,
能
we
力不
tend to
够
be
的时候，
fooled by our
所以我们
senses.
就会因为我们的五官传达给我们的讯息，最后
As a
的结果
result, we
是
end up
错误。
making mistakes.
但是
One
有很
thing
多
we
人
hear often is
错
what's
都
done
错
is
了，我们
done.
享受眼前的，无论他
Whenever
的
people are
对一个事物
deceived,
的
it's that
我的
excuse
听
they
觉，
cling to.
还是嗅觉，还是视觉等等的，哎，安慰自己那个虚假的心，就这样吧，就这样吧，哎。所以有
After
很
their
多人
marriage
是这
turned
个
bad,
等
they
找错了
chose to
人
stay.
了之后，才发现
Why?
孩
Most
子不
do it
生
for
了，
their children.
哎，这个也
Most
离
wouldn't
婚吧，
want their children to have an
这个孩子
imperfect
变得
family.
很可怜，哎，就又不忍心孩子，要不是
So
因
if
为
it weren't for their
有孩子
children,
这个
a
连接
divorce
物
would
的
have
话，
happened
他
long
得
ago.
早就分道扬镳了。所以很
Many
多婚姻就
marriages
是
are
这样
like
的熬
this.
过来的。那
Is
这样
this
的感觉，
happiness? It is
那叫
from a
幸福
different
吗？
perspective.
也是一种幸福。所以我
To
提
those
醒
who
大家
learn
跟我
from
说
me,
禅修的人，
remember,
有时
try
候
to enjoy
以苦为
pain.
乐。
Do
难
the
行能忍，
impossible and bear the
难
unbearable.
忍能忍，一
Endure
忍
one
再忍
hardship after another.
啊，千
Ignore
万不
your
要分歧
adrenaline
他，
rush. Don't
好吧？
fight it. Be
哎，我们有慈
compassionate
悲
to
心，
what annoys you.
这智
This
慧
is
是
the
你的
result of
罪
your
业
karma, because you were once
啊。
tricked by your senses.
因为你曾经上了你的五官的当，所以
Why
我
do
们
some
开
who
始明
study
白了
Buddhism choose
为
not
什
to get
么
married?
有一些佛教徒说我不结婚了，也就明白了，知道吗？你不
Because
去
they
违
ignore
反
the
贪
greed
念
born
的
of
欲望的
affection.
时候，其实
When
你
there's
没有
no
结婚
marriage, there's no
就
divorce.
不需要有一件事情，就是你不可能离婚。 对不
That's
对？就
one
避免了
way
离
to
婚，
avoid divorce and the
同时也避免了对
responsibility
家
of a
庭的责任。
family. I
好，
hope
这
after
个是
listening to
提醒到
this,
这一
you'll
点啊，
become
也希
wiser,
望大家开始有一点智慧，学
able to
习
better
去
differentiate between
分辨
joy and
这
afflictions,
个快乐和烦恼。
and
学
with
习
a
分
better
辨我
understanding of
们
what your
的
senses bring you.
眼、耳、鼻、舌、身和意识啊，带给我们的这些讯息，学会去分辨它。
The
通常来
sweetness you
说，
feel now could leave you
此
bitter
时拿到
tomorrow.
的，觉得凡是香的、甜的、美的、舒适的，未来都是错误的。
Let go of gains and losses, assess with clear and calm eyes to ensure fairness. Be alert toward the 5 poisons and 6 senses. Always aim to elevate your mental state. Practice compassion and reverence, turn confusion into wisdom. Raise your
请问大家谁
hand
爱
if
吃
you
糖
have a
和
sweet
甜的东西？
tooth.
请举手。
Some
小
in
时候
their
还可以，
60s still look
总
at a
之老大
piece of
不小
cake
了，
several times.
有的人60好几，一见了蛋糕就哆嗦，就非得弄一块蛋糕。
Do you
我就不
think
用
you're
说
still
了，
able
你
to
还能
fully
吃吗？
enjoy it?
对吧？但
This
是你
is
说贪
greed,
欲之心还
nothing
是有的，
else.
我们都
We
知
all
道，
know
吃
too
糖
much
多了
sugar is
对
bad for
身
our
体有危
health.
害吧？对，你
It
知
could
道那
lead to
个糖
diabetes
尿
and other
并发症，
diseases.
很多
Your
时候都
legs
是
could
这
be
原因下的，
amputated, you could go
这么
blind
遭
or
到的
even
死。
die.
所以
Many
以为
still
糖是好
think they
东西，
can't live without sugar.
它只是你
Children
成
need
长的时
sugar
候
for
是有害，
growth.
所以
That
为什么儿童
explains
喜
why
欢
they
糖，
grew up with
就
it.
是有原因的。高热量
Sugar contains the essential
啊，含
calories
多
and
种的维
energy
生素，
crucial to a child's growth.
但
As
是
they
成
grow
长
up,
起来
the
之后
intake
就
needs to
淡
be
了。
cut down.
那在
Most
我们小时
children
候
are
长
so
大过程
blessed
之
to
后，
have all kinds
就
of
听
food
说
growing up.
未来的最幸福的这个
For
社会的状
breakfast,
态，
parents think
就
children
是
should have bread and
吃
milk.
面包喝牛奶，牛
Cow's
奶
milk is for calves, not adult
是给
humans.
小牛喝的。可是你是个成年人，这是第一个，你是人，你不是牛
Of course, we get cow's milk if breast milk is unavailable, but it's not right for an adult in their 40s to still crave cow's milk. You're raising yourself as if you were a calf.
对不对？
See how the milk producer cheated your happiness?
卖牛奶的那个农场主给骗了。
Once again, you've been deceived by your sense of taste.
是吧？
Some prefer to stay on higher floors. As they grow older, their legs become too weak to use stairs.
怎么扶着楼梯这么艰难呢？
As a result, going back home and going out become harder.
那个腿痛的人就怕下楼梯，下不来。
The so-called high-end lifestyle you crave is not easy. That's why we have elevators now. Before elevators, the poor slid down a pole.
哎，家里并不是那么很富裕的。
Maybe that's how the pole dance was invented. That's how people moved quickly to the ground floor.
哎，
There's a sad story behind these inventions.
其实你以为那就是幸福呀？
Unenlightened, you might think, does that mean all good is bad?
盲目听我这么讲，你会误以为说我们觉得好的就都是坏的。
No.
它是一个
It's all
辩证
about
的关系
perceptions of right or wrong.
啊，是辩证的关系。
It's all about this
一
question,
个
how much?
一个程度，一个量。
Let's go back to sugar again. Let's talk about an adult's diet and eating habits.
在你的这个饮食之中，你比如说
Fruit
你
is
吃到的
part
这
of
些
our
水
daily
果
diet, right?
几乎
Most
所有
fruit
的水果
contains
之中
sugar.
都含很多的糖。
The
比如说
amount
一个
of
成年
sugar
人
in half
一
or
天
one whole apple is enough for an
一天
adult.
一个苹果和半个苹果的糖分已
For
经
daily
足够。
sugar intake, that's about it.
但是呢，我
Extra
们还有额
sugar
外
is
带的。
consumed if, say,
喝咖
you
啡
add
咖
sugar
啡
to your
苦对吧？故
coffee.
意放上糖，说再
Coffee
把它
should
变
taste
成
bitter,
甜的。
right?
你傻呀！喝咖啡应该喝的是那个苦味儿吧？说不
But
行，再放
still,
糖。
some
一
like it
放了糖
sweet.
之后，糖又多了。糖又
That's
多了
how
之后再加
Splenda
糖。
or sugar substitutes
哎，
came to
还有
be.
西方人
Instead
就
of
是吃
whole
那个牛
milk,
奶，说
some
多吃牛奶。
Westerners use skim milk.
把这牛
Where
奶
do
脱
the
脂
milk
出来之
fats
后，
go?
就
They
变成
become butter.
那个叫 butter 那个牛油、奶油。再吃
Butter
面包
can be
啪
spread
啪
on
抹上去，
bread.
最后
A
发现比
slice
喝
of
牛奶
buttered
里面那
bread
个油
is
还要多
higher in
很多。
calories than a cup of milk.
所
When
以但是你买
shopping,
东西的
that's
时候
2
说呢，
cartons of skim
同时
milk
买了
and 2
2罐的牛
packages of
奶，
butter.
2盒子牛油，有
Why
病啊
don't
你
you
啊！
just buy 2 cartons of whole milk then?
这真是可笑。你就直接买全脂牛奶就完了。啊，
One
所以
can
这
be
个
fooled by
就
his
是
own
有时候我
wisdom.
们这个智慧当过于发达的时候就是错误，对不对？所
If
以
you want
想
to
不
avoid
受那
health
个牛
issues
油的
caused
毒
by
还能
milk
变白
fat,
胖的话，想让你的
then
脑细
steer
胞清
clear
净
of
的话，
dairy
你干
products.
脆不碰奶制品不就完了吗？说自
Most
己
would
嘴还
use
馋，
craving as
说
an
我知道有
excuse.
危害，但是我很馋呐。那没办法。那你的
Then your
行为都不
behavior
受
is
你的
not
脑神经
controlled by
控
your
制，都
brain.
不受你的智慧控制，请问
Knowing
你的水
something is
平正常
wrong
吗？
but still doing it, is that normal? If
你还
you're
做
an
工程师，
engineer, how can your projects work?
你做哪个工程，哪个工程就流失。对不对？
Blaming your
所以这是
craving
说，
is an
好多
example
我
of
们就
doing
是
something
知
you
道是
know
错
is
误，我
wrong.
就控制不住自己。说
It's
就
like
像
when
小
you
孩
tell a
子，
kid that
说
candy
不要
will
吃
rot
糖
his
哈，
teeth,
你
and
们
he
牙都
says,
坏了，不
okay.
要再吃了。他说好吧，妈妈
When
又
his
养了
mom
身
isn't
体，
looking, he
又
searches
去
for
拿。
his candy.
哎，那
Adults
是
do
儿
that
童，
too, not only kids.
但是成年人呢，要
It's
学习
important to practice awareness and
有
self-control.
对自我的行为要有控制的能力。学这个控制自我的行为，这是非常非常必要的，因
The
为
most well
你控
suited to
制自己的
controlling
这
one's
种错误
desires
的
is
欲望
oneself.
是最理智的。所以学
Meditation
禅
doesn't
修
turn you into a
不是把你
religious
学成一
fanatic.
个宗教的狂热分子，
We
而是一
meditate
个
to
非
have a
常理
rational
性思
mind
考
that
事物
applies
的，
fairness in
几乎
everything.
进入于一个公平状态思考事物的理性行为。绝不是盲
Meditation
目的
isn't
变成
about
了一个
following religious
盲目的
teachings
宗教信仰
blindly.
者。
That's the reason for my practices and studies in meditation all these years. It teaches rational thought so that you don't thank me for everything. Your salary increase did not come from my blessing. Your kid's new tooth did not come from my blessing. That happens naturally, right? My blessing allows you to survive car accidents. Many have survived road accidents, right? Don't claim everything good for yourself. Don't claim everything bad has nothing to do with you. You must act rationally. Meditation clears your mind, making you smarter. You'll be more rational, with better self-control. As you practice further, you'll gain energy. With a greater mental state, you can interact with greater energy. Those who don't believe you will call you superstitious. It's hard to explain energy. When a world-class singer performs, he shocks and moves the crowd. His voice so powerful it charms those who listen to him. We call that influential force. It's a kind of energy which draws people to it. Some people's looks possess this characteristic. It easily attracts people. There are faces with such force which attract people. Presidential elections are about choosing the best contestant. People vote for the most charming, best-looking and wisest guy. Some are just born with the ability to influence others. There are people who cultivate and obtain it later. There are differences in the degree of influence when a superstar and an average singer perform on stage. The difference is obvious. The more average a person is, the less you feel like watching him. That's the difference in influential ability. All important people, regardless of what they do, possess this trait. They can start something from scratch and turn it global. Some are born with it, some obtain it through practice. If you practice well, you can cultivate and unleash an even stronger force. Let's look at some of the world's most famous people. Let's recall Obama's presidential run. Some still felt electrified even after it was over. Many women fell in love with him. His voters may not have met him, but they were attracted to him. Apart from his looks, there's a charm surrounding him. We can call that his influential force. The ability to influence in a negative way also counts. Not everyone can lead a gang. The gang leader also has his own influential force. I've watched and listened to speeches of Hitler during early World War II. Einstein mentioned about his colleagues. They wanted to join Hitler's army after hearing Hitler's speeches. Their voices had even gone hoarse from screaming at the gathering. I bet they made the Nazi salute even in their sleep.
睡觉都是这样。
That's how emotional they were. To have started a war, Hitler's influence must have been incredibly strong. In many mythologies, good and evil are equally strong. There's a saying, how much light is how much darkness. Good and evil are strong in their own ways. It's hard to fully explain this concept. Keep practicing to cultivate higher mental states. As your compassion gets stronger, your charisma increases. Your voice will sound better to your listeners. Those who despise your looks will begin to like you more. All these transformations come with meditation practices. Some even develop healing energy by which to perform miracles. How long does it take to recover from a bone injury? 100 days. I see, so it's 100 days. After someone heals you, it could take only about 15 to 30 days. Isn't this a miracle in the medical field? Healing is only part of what meditation energy can do. As you cultivate further, you'll be able to perform miracles beyond your knowledge and wisdom's explanation. What's another term for someone being self-centered? Self-attached. Remember that. It describes people who are unable to let go of their self-obsession. The behavior of many people has nothing to do with us. But when we're too self-centered, a passerby who looks better than us can annoy us. But they have nothing to do with us. Those who are less self-attached are less injured. People who are very sociable, they don't get offended by jokes easily. At the end, everyone is still good friends. These are broad-minded people. I've met some narrow-minded people. I asked someone why she was upset. She said, Master looked at me coldly. Why did Master look at me that way? I replied, but I didn't even see you. That upset her even more. Why? Because I didn't even see her. Seriously, I was telling the truth. Maybe she wasn't around, so I didn't see her. My gaze was harsh. Please, I look at everything warmly. I don't get why my gaze was being targeted. Well, maybe she caught me when I was staring into space. She was offended and vowed to resign and join another Dharma school. Sometimes, we create our own afflictions. This is inexplicable. It could be karma or familial influence. If the mom does floral embroidery, the child's attention to detail will be immense. Being too detail-oriented is not good. Constantly thinking about the details, you'll become sick. Those who are easygoing and casual are not as easily hurt. Being oversensitive hurts not just yourself, but also others. You
因为
can't
外人
hurt
你
those
伤
you
不到，
can't
太有
reach.
距离了。
Therefore,
谁跟
those
你
who are
最近
close to
你就
you
受
will
伤
get hurt. We
你有
all
没有
have
发现每
someone
家都
like
有这
that
么
in
个
our
人？
family.
有吧？有没有
Raise
人
your
在家里
hand if
没
you
有这种人？请
disagree.
举手。你家里没有这个人，请举手。
If you
如果你
raised your
举手，一
hand,
定
you
是你
must be
是
this
很有敏
person.
感的人。
This
一
is
般
the
是这个
rule.
规律。
There's
就
that
全家
one
人不敢
person
惹
in
他
our
不敢靠
family
近他。
nobody dares to go near.
你
They
不知
get
道怎么就
offended
犯
without
了
a
他。
reason.
哎，对对对对，所以
Being
我们
too
讲的时候，
concerned about
还是一
yourself
个
brings
痛苦
afflictions.
烦恼的来源，就是自我意识太强烈了。
How
那
do
怎
we
样
get
消
rid of
除自
that?
我意识太强烈呢？慈悲
Compassion.
心，慈悲心就是最好的大补药。
When
慈
you
悲心强
cultivate
烈了
more
之后，
compassion, you become less
你
attached
那
to
个
yourself.
自我的那个小敏感、小心眼就会减淡。那
How?
慈悲心
Sounds
很多人
tough.
还不理解哈。好，我
Here's
给
an
你讲述一
example.
个画面。
Do you
在
remember
中
the
国
Sichuan
四川
earthquake?
省有一次地震，大家记得吗？汶川地震，
A
从
mother
地
was
震的有一个
rescued
废
from
墟
under
里
the
头
rubble.
拉出来了一个母亲，
The
母
mother
亲已经
wasn't
当
going
时
to make it.
生命到了最后一刻，奄奄一息。
In
她一
her
直抱着
arms
她
was
那
her
个小
infant,
baby，
a
几
few
个
months
月的小
old.
孩子。
The
她手
mother
都动不
hardly
了
had
了，因
strength
为
to
在
lift a
尘螨里
finger.
头。
With
她
her
用最后
remaining
微弱的一
strength,
点点
she
气
asked
息，
someone to take off her
告诉旁
shirt.
边的人说：“解开我的衣服，我
She
再一
wanted
次
to
为
feed her infant one last time.
来哺乳哺养她的孩子。
She
她的
died
孩
while
子
her infant fed on her
她在
milk.
身上吃奶的过程之中，
This is compassion.
这就叫做慈悲。
This is what all mothers are
我
like.
们的母亲都是这样子。
To
你也
obtain
想有这样
compassion,
一个
be
慈
like a
悲心
mother
的
who
话，
genuinely
就学习这
offers.
样母亲的奉献的精神。
It's
你也不
not
要
only
说只有
mothers
母
who
亲
are
慈悲，
compassionate.
父
Some
亲
fathers take
为
up
了
several
全身治
jobs
病，
to
一个人
support
打
their
好几份
family.
工，都是为了把你家庭的这个帐篷支撑起来。
A
所以
father is a
父亲
pillar of
通
the
常在家里
family.
头就是那棵大松树，就是那个大山，啊，他来支撑着这个家，啊，所
All
以为人
parents
父
are
母者为大
compassionate to
慈
their
大。
children.
至少在孩子面前，
For
他
their
们只是我
children,
们
they're
孩子
Buddhas.
的佛，
That
在
is
他们身上就
compassion.
学会了慈悲。但是我说
However,
的大
that's
慈大
not
悲
all
是
compassion.
更
All
加对
compassion
更
refers to
广
being
泛的。
compassionate to all sentient beings. What
但是
we're
我们在生
exposed
命
to
当
is
中学
parental
到的，就
compassion,
是
that's
父母
all.
亲对孩子的奉献之心，那就是慈悲。当
With
有了慈悲
compassion,
心，
a mother can
所以
sacrifice her
母
life
亲
to
宁可
protect
自
her
己
infant.
打死，都要护住自己的小婴儿。
A
父亲宁
father
可
can
累
exhaust
死，
himself
也要
just
帮
to
婴
feed
孩。
his family.
啊，这
That's
就是父
parental
亲的慈悲。
compassion.
所以
With
我们学到了这
compassion,
份
one
慈悲的
doesn't
时候，
care about gains
所
or
以我们就
losses.
不会在乎自己的得失，是吧？
A
一个
qualified
合格的
mother
母
will
亲
feed her child
生
without
了
care
小孩
about
子
her
之后，
figure.
能够用自己的身体去喂养自己的孩子。所以一个
Compassion
人
is all about
要想
loving
学
and
习慈
giving
悲心，就要
sincerely.
有这样一种真正的爱的奉献。啊，希
I
望大
hope
家
you've been
有一
enlightened
点
a
领
little
悟。
today.
谢谢
Thank
大
you
家。
for listening. Those who are weak and sensitive attract pain and afflictions. Meditation cultivates great energy for higher mental states and charisma. Offer with sincerity and compassion, peace comes with no gains or losses.